Hello, everyone, and welcome to Truly Bedrock Season 2. This is episode 40. Now, it's been a little bit since we uploaded a video, and the last few videos that we did, the bridge project and the blaze farm, kind of wore me out. And then, of course, as you know by the time this comes out, it is the end of the season. So rather than diving into large projects, I went ahead and finished up the base, got everything put back together, and then that was our last video put out. Now, the storyline stuff that everybody did unfortunately fell on a day that I was at work and I was unable to attend, but there is some footage that we will try to throw into this video. So what I think I'm going to do, since we have some new people watching videos that have come over from the modded series and some live streams and things like that, is we're going to go through all of the things that we have built here on Truly Bedrock Season 2. I had a hiccup there, apologize. And we're going to start looking at these builds. That is the plan. Now, I've taken over to a creative copy of the server so that we can get a better look at some of the builds that we've done. This was our starting base, the first episode that we actually had of Truly Bedrock Season 2. We did an end raid with Jesse, Beardstone, and DB, and we went and got a bunch of stuff, and then we came here and we started designing our tower. This little tower I absolutely love. It is not the tallest in Chunktown, but it is my favorite because I built it. We put the little sphere on top, and this thing looks pretty cool. From the inside, it also looks pretty cool. We did put some invisible fire in here on top of, or we put some lights, I'm sorry, behind these stairs and stuff here. If we were to take this off, you can see we have some glowstone so that the underside of this got lit. We then took to making a basic storage system in here, and we have a smelter, we have some brewing stands, we have some mementos for some streams that we did. Our first diamond pickaxe, fighting the wither, we've died a bunch of times, exploring the new nether. We did a stream for hunting a bunch of different heads, and then we built the blaze farm, and I kind of forgot about this. So downstairs, we did build a couple of things. We built a, if I can go down. There we go. Get out of the flight mode. We did build ourselves the nether wart farm here that has produced a bunch of nether wart for us and helped Liara in her quest of doing the nether tunnel. We then came over, or down a little bit further, and we made some farms. We made a pumpkin farm, which grows or works pretty good. We made a melon farm, which has produced for us whilst people have been in Chunktown. We made some bamboo. We've got some cactus. And we made, of course, this janky sugarcane farm, which doesn't work very well, as we found out. Bone meal nano farms are the best way to go when building sugarcane farms. We then laid out the nylium here once the new nether update dropped, so that we could get the different roots and fungus and vines. But when we built this starter base, our full intention was to base in the nether along with the new nether update, so we quickly left this thing behind and we didn't really come back to it. But it is a really cool build. I like the design of how this thing comes up and then so on and so forth, and it turned out pretty neat. This was early game before the new nether update came out, or this would have been built out of blackstone most likely, and this would have looked a lot better. We have our nether wart farm here, and of course we did build this thing one block too far into this chunk here, which is unfortunate, but it happens. You know, it is what it is. Now over to the shopping district, where we put up a shop. This was one of the very few shops that kind of started. We had the fish, we had the Trident farm, or the Trident shop, we had the little dock shop over there of Slacks where he was selling books. We did have the shop over there as well. I keep calling them farms, but they're not farms. And then, of course, I built this shop here, which was a shop that was dedicated to Nether survival. We did do a bunch of exploration through the Nether, and I really love the way that this thing turned out. We did build up some of this a little bit to accommodate our shop, and this thing is probably one of my favorite builds outside of my base, because I just love the design of the blackstone and the nether brick, and we use some of the chiseled variants, and it all looks so well. We did actually just renovate this shop to where people could come and throw away their nether rack. They could come in and buy actual nether items, and blackstone even, quartz, and of course, nether wart. But the end of the season was upon us, so I know that I wasn't going to make too many sales, but that's okay. It was a good little project anyway. Throughout the season, we did have a few members leave. Originally, our iron shop was this anvil here, and Proud did leave to go on his own adventures and do his own thing, which I wish him the best, but it did give us an opportunity to jump onto the iron business, which we did. We built this little iron golem, and looks like we actually sold all of our iron that we had in here. Keeping this shop stocked was one of the most difficult things that we built, but our iron farm did work enough to where we could keep this shop fairly stocked, as well as getting iron of our own. So I do like it. There are a ton of iron blocks used in this build. We did not cheap out on our iron golem, and it looks neat coming up out of the side of the mesa here. The other shop that we built was inside of Foxy's Mall over here. And this shop, I don't think, ever sold a single item. But we did build it. It is the Piglin Bits. We built our first mini block structure here, which is the tree. We do have leather, gravel, ender pearls, and of course, crying obsidian for sale. Not a single sale was ever made in this shop, but it was still a fun little project. Now here we are in the main Nether hub. This is the portal to Chunktown. Behind that is the shopping district portal. And early on in the game, there was a job posted in the shopping district for Jessie, for someone to build her a piglin bartering farm. And we jumped on that. One of my favorite things from Season 1 that I hope to see in Season 3 was the freelance or job tavern. Now, like I said, we did jump on the opportunity, and we came over here to Jessie's area, and we built her a piglin bartering system, which is this guy right here. We hooked up the redstone, and I know that this thing worked for her at least for a little while, because it did collect a bunch of stuff. Jessie actually hooked us up with some nether brick at one point, and you can simply place the gold in here and then turn the system on, and these guys will barter, and the items get collected down below. So this was a little project that we did, and we can, because we're in a creative copy, we can smash through here and see some very basic redstone. That is a hopper timer. It's the same thing that we have at our base. I was designing or figuring out my bartering system at the time, and our test run was actually Jessie B's setup that we did here. And I hope this thing worked for her through most of the season, because ours worked quite well. So the next thing that I want to show you guys that we built is we had a couple of different districts throughout the season. One of them, and it was a major hit, was the Winter District. We've spent some time over there recently collecting a few different mobs for the base, and there was a couple of different things that we took part in as well. And that portal is just down a little bit longer and through this tunnel here, if we can fly properly. And we're going to go take a look at that area because we did do some building in it. And not much. We did participate in Beardstone's game, which was pretty neat. I think we took 5th overall, which isn't too bad. That is Beardstone's game right here. If I remember correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I took 7th. But I wasn't too far off. We did pretty good. I liked it. I got lost in the redstone because I messed up because I'm a genius. And then we participated in some of the builds that happened around here. Namely, the snowman building competition, which I love this thing. This is my absolute funniest thing I did. I laughed so hard, my side hurt. Basically, the idea was I built a snowman, and then because I'm on fire, I lit my snowman on fire, and it turned out to be a whole thing. And it is a really interesting build. We did take part in the flight course, which we never did get a great time on. And then eventually we did make our way over to some villages and stuff, collecting different animals. We caught an Arctic fox, a fox, and things like that. But this is our snowman build. And I really do love it. I had a lot of fun building in here. I think I got a couple of episodes out of this area. And it was great. And we passed it on the way to the Winter District, heading back towards spawn. There is this tunnel here, which leads to another themed build area. The success of the Winter District, how much fun everybody had doing it, we took together as a group and thought about doing another themed area to build in, which I did come over here and I had a little bit of writer's block, artistic block, whatever you want to call it, and asked you guys, the viewers, what we should build. And one of the suggestions was to build a volcano and maybe put a hot spring in it. So we built this thing here. And this is my first attempt at building a naturally generated looking structure, doing any kind of terraforming and that stuff. And our first attempt at building this, which I don't think was ever seen, looked absolutely terrible. Then we came and we ended up building this thing. And I think this thing looks extremely well. We added on to the mountain here, and we filled it all the way up to there, and this was a lot of stone and a lot of block placing, and I think this thing turned out absolutely amazing. It looks fairly natural, and for a first attempt, it was very, very good. We did put a little bit of lava and some smoke and stuff coming off the top to give it that volcano feel, and then of course we did build a little bit of a path and a spa or a hot spring inside of it, whatever you want to call it. So we have the main entrance to this. We have our little receptionist over here. We have some locker rooms on either side where we did build some working showers. And we'll dispense water down. The floor pulls away so that the water rolls down. You can wash yourself off. And you can essentially close this off. And then we did build like a little floor drain right here so that water would go not everywhere. This was a cool build. I had a lot of fun doing it. Figuring out these little fluorescent looking lights was pretty neat. And then of course we built this area inside here, which is the sauna itself. I did want to do more work in here and kind of lighting up the interior of this a little bit better than just torch spam, but though there was a few suggestions, quite a few, on what to do, I didn't know what would look good, but this didn't look bad, right? So, now, this was kind of a naturally... There was no water here, but it was a natural slope down, so we built a little retaining wall, and we did fill in that area over there to level it off, and then we placed in all of the water, and then we kind of made this look a little muddy and stuff like that, and I had a ton of fun building this, got a few episodes out of it. The suggestion was well received, and pulled me well out of my comfort zone because we've never undertook a project, you know, like this one here. This was, again, I've had so many great builds this season, and this was just another one where we've really pulled ourselves and made something neat. I've shown this on camera many different times, but the tunnel build itself was quite an undertaking of a project, and I do absolutely love the effect that this gives. This turned out extremely well. I probably have close to 18 hours worth of work into this tunnel between digging and replacing blocks. Probably more than 18 hours with the work on creative, figuring out what I wanted to do, and collection of blocks and things like that. But the one thing that I never really shown was this portal here. I've walked past it many times. You've seen it. We may have even talked about it, but this portal leads to a mesa biome. My industrial district's that way, and all that this really was a place for me to come. I gathered some red sand, and this was literally just a mining area. Over in the Chunktown area and the surrounding areas are pretty well mined out from everybody else on the server, so I found my own little place to do some mining. And as a matter of fact, I got a shulker box sitting here. We would strip mine. I found a few diamonds, and we did look for gold and things like that. It does come out into this nice little ravine here, and that's all this area is. It's literally just a spot for me to do mining in, so that we could collect more resources. And I think at the time I was gathering up a bunch of diamonds so that we could buy mini blocks and stuff from Beardstone. But that is that portal. And then not too far down, we have, of course, our industrial district. And most of the things that I wanted to do this season are complete. I did not get to placing the mini blocks down through the tunnel like I wanted. And I really don't know why. It's just something that we didn't get to. Now, stepping through the portal, we come out into this area that I have called my industrial district, and we have a friend. I could have taken to the Nether and tried to build things like a gold farm and a gunpowder farm and sugarcane and stuff like that. But let's be honest, we know that these kinds of farms work better in the overworld as opposed to the Nether. So rather than struggling to get resources, it was better just to come up with this area. I never did finish filling this thing in, and there were a few farms that we just never got to. But the first farm that was plopped down in this area was this gold farm, which I left broken. Well, you know, things happen. This portal farm here works really well. It has supplied me with boatloads of gold, and we did renovate this thing not too long ago. We upgraded the storage system, we upgraded the killing system that we have for the piglins, and this farm works extremely well. Another little farm that we have in here is this wool farm. This thing has produced a ton of black wool, and this is what supplied our black carpet that is in our nether tunnel. Eventually we made this farm here, which originally was a sugarcane farm, but as we found, sugarcane doesn't grow that great. So instead we built this farm here, which does spawn all hostile mobs. They fall down, they get killed, and then everything gets sent through this system here, and we are only collecting the gunpowder. Everything else gets destroyed, and then the gunpowder eventually makes its way over to this system here, and that is how we got the gunpowder for our rockets for the remainder of the season. And we have our little AFK spot here. We then needed paper to further our endeavors of getting rockets, so we built this thing here, which is 4 giant cactus farms, and we are simply running all of this cactus that will pop off in this farm into a composter, which is turning it then into bone meal, and that bone meal is getting sent around, bone mealing this plant here, or the sugarcane, and it is collecting sugarcane. This farm works, it works well. It is a very silly way to do it, but I think it's absolutely funny. And these were actually relatively easy to build. They didn't take, maybe 30 minutes each silo, and that was a lot of fun. We did darken this area over here and got ourselves a few zombie villagers, which ended up over here. We then bred those villagers up and transported them up to here, And then from there, we bred them further to get clean villagers for this iron golem farm. And this iron golem farm has supplied our iron shop as well as ourselves for the duration of season. I did end up having to pretty much wipe this farm of all villagers, and we had to start over because we were having a little bit of problems. And then we had to link all of these guys up to workstations and link up to their beds, but as you see, it is working. I had plans to take this little setup over here, which we'll talk about momentarily, and expand it, but after dealing with the villagers and the headache that this farm was, I was tired of villagers. We did also get some bees going. I'm not sure why these guys... I guess they've gone into their hives. Before, they were just kind of hanging out. We did find out a neat little thing about dispensers and how we can force items to one side or the other, collecting honey. And this one has collected a lot of honey. And we have basically gone back to an old redstone tutorial of mine where I made this, and we made just a little small farm for bees. And this guy has pollen on his butt, but he's not going anywhere. But this farm works, and it works decent enough. I'm really happy with it. It was a cool little adventure for us. This little system here we built used to have a zombie in it. Unfortunately, the zombie has gone away. I don't know why. But we could put villagers in here. We could roll them around. They would drop in here. They would sit here and get turned into zombie villagers, and then we could roll them over to here, cure them, and then we could get, you know, the amazing trades like these. These aren't great, but they used to be better. Oh, he's mad at me because this has been locked out, so... Yep. But we were trading paper and sticks and gravel and things like that to this guy, string to get emeralds. This used to be like one string for one emerald. It was a pretty good system that we had going, and like I said, I never expanded upon it because I got sick and tired of zombies, or villagers. Now, I did build a little bit of an area down here to which we could capture another zombie and simply push him up this, and he would go back into the spot, and then we wouldn't have to worry about a zombie changing the villagers. I left that system in place. The bubble column actually comes up, I believe, right here. Yep. So we could just block this off and then push that guy into there. No big deal. That is our industrial district. I did have plans for a few more farms in here, but I'm happy with the progress that was made. Before we get to the main event, the coup de grace, the base that is my most favorite thing I've ever made, we did make a few other things. One of which was this Hoglin farm. It hasn't worked in a while, but we did spend some time up here in this platform, AFK, and all of the AFKing that we did for a few days, you know, worth of work to build this thing, to slab it up, and do some AFKing, I managed to gather all of the food that I needed throughout the entirety of the season, and there's still some in here. Maybe these guys are spawning in, maybe I don't see them, I don't know. But this farm did work, and it did work well. I think we would have to do a little bit of upgrading. Maybe it needs glass or something like that. One of the updates did break this thing. But it was a great farm, and it was a lot of work to get it done. Of course, we will be looking at the base more thoroughly, but I want to go over here and show off something we did very, very early on, which was the Blaze Farm. This is a design by Silent Whisperer, and it does work. It works really well. We have AFK'd in this thing many hours. And we have collected many blaze rods for the server. And we did just recently upgrade this thing to a better trident killer and a better collection system, which we have down here. We did extend this into a bridge that we will be looking at. We have our enchantment station here. We have a furnace. We have a smithing table. We have an ender chest, crafting table, all of those things. We have a dump chest here for all of our personal effects, so that when we go AFK, and if we were to accidentally die, we wouldn't lose our stuff. Now, one of the neatest systems I think I came up with this season is this smart smelter down here. Whilst we're AFK in the Blaze Farm, we can set shulker boxes on these two, or above these two hoppers. You set them on here. If we were to get a shulker box, you simply set this thing here, and then we could smelt items. Essentially how this thing works is you would place a shulker box full of items, and those items would begin to be smelted using blaze rods, and you could take an empty shulker box and place it here so that the items are collected. Now over here what we have is a hopper with 49 items in it here, and there's 47 over here. But giving a redstone signal strength of 3 requires 46 items. So once there's less than 46 items in here, if we were to take out some of these, the redstone will then be powered, pushing the hopper over this lineup, because this is the lineup that needs blaze rods, and it will shift the redstone block, locking this hopper, not allowing the items to go over to the shulker box loader. So instead, blaze rods would come through, and they would come across here into this chest, which will then be splitting them out. And if we were to place the items back in here and then pull half of these items out, you would see this hopper placed over here, and I really like that system. It is a smart system that will move the hoppers where the blaze rods are needed, and then when this thing is fully retracted like this in its normal setup and we're not smelting anything, the blaze rods are then picked up by this hopper line going into a shulker box loader. And we actually should have some blaze rods in here from our AFK session, so this works really, really nice. And then because we have Foxy's add-on pack in here, I do have a blaze head sorter on this side of things. And this is a really, really neat little room that did work out pretty well for us. And yeah, that is the Blaze Farm. Of course, you guys watch the streams, I'm assuming, where we built this long old bridge. We are going to show this thing off in all of its glory. This thing turned out absolutely amazing. It's about 90 blocks long. We built the pillars going all the way down into the lava. We have the little archways, the soul fire. This was a great project that I'm extremely happy we built. We did the same thing on both sides. This just gives us a path to walk over to the Blaze Farm. Originally, I was thinking about building a base in this nether fortress, but after the update, this kind of got wonky with the terrain generation, and I didn't want to have to do the hours of work it would take to carve out some of this netherrack and push back some of the landscape. So we came up with a different plan, building our base over here, but we kept the Blaze Farm nonetheless. We could have built ourselves a fortress-based mob farm. It would have probably gotten us a little bit better in the way of blaze rods, but I'm happy with the progress, or happy with the farm and what we did. Now, we did build a path through the warped forest here, and we built another bridge leading into the castle, so we had a way and a route to go. Originally, before the Nether update, this was a fortress. That's why you see Blaze and Wither skeletons spawning over there. We could have even turned this area into a farm as well. We should have kind of used, you know, the bugginess of the terrain generation, but we built this bridge here. It looks like a old school, like an old western bridge coming out of the corner of our base, and then we cut across to get to the Blaze Farm. It looks really, really cool. And again, this thing was a neat little project. As far as the base goes, we gotta start down here in the tunnel because this is by far one of the coolest things, at least in my opinion, of my base. We have our staircase here. If I would have built this part of the tunnel first, I would have pushed my tunnel back a few blocks. I think we ended up going with this location because it worked out with Liara's main nether hub. That was the plan anyway. We do have the bridge leading up to the base, and this is a neat little walkway. I absolutely love it. I love the way that this kind of just comes out of the caves. We tried to make this look like a cave. We have some vines coming down here, the crimson vines. We put some gold and some nether quartz, and then we did blend the terrain down here with some crying obsidian and blackstone. And this is an amazing... I love it. I don't even know how to describe it. We have our different mob heads, and then of course up here where the blaze is, we do have a tripwire hook that would play music when you're coming into the base, and then we have all of the TB members in their armor stands across the base. Some of the members that did leave us this season, and then I did put Jade and Bruno kind of in this section here, and it looks really neat. Building this base, we built this thing in pieces. I had an idea of what I wanted to build, and early on, we did lay out the groundwork in this lava pool. I had a few set of requirements that I wanted to reach, which were being in the nether. I wanted to be in between these two biomes here. It would have been nice to have a basalt delta, which we do have just over there. I wanted a nether fortress close by, which is over there, and then there is a bastion remnant, which is over there. Other than that, we did get to work raising our walls, and slowly but surely we came up with a base. We then put together the work for the bottom section here, which is using some red nether bricks and some of the crimson, or the warped planks. Looks really, really good. And then we came up with these little faces and the little fog effects that I think look absolutely amazing from afar. They look good close up as well. The next thing that we did is we topped off the base. This was the design that we came up with in creative, as well as all of these things. And that is pretty much the exterior of our base. It is this repeated on all the walls. These things right here are what created the size of the base, doing these original pieces. Now, inside the base, it's kind of bland. We never did get to building much on these walls. I didn't come up with the design. Again, I do projects as I get inspired, and if I'm not inspired to do something, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to push an episode and it feel pushed. So we never got to the walls because I didn't want the same repeating pattern. I wanted to do something that kind of did like a flowy effect all the way around, but again, the bridge project kind of took up some of our time. So in here we have a few things. We do have a little micro smeltery here. Again, the base is not 100% complete, but it is complete enough that I like it. We have the creation station over here, which again, this we created early on for things to build. And I did build some of these, but I didn't build all of them, which I do feel bad about. I am sorry, I apologize. But I kind of had a set of things that I wanted to get to. Then we have our storage room here, which has a few shulker boxes that we will clean up and put away in chests. We have our headroom here for a lot of the passive mobs and villagers. And then over here is where we put our heads for our more non-passive mobs. Hostile mobs, that's the word I'm looking for. Nether, End, and then Overworld. It came out pretty good. We have a little ladder here to get down towards the Hoglin farm, which is just out there. And then, of course, down here is where we've been a bunch of times. This is our sorting and collection system for the bartering. farm that we have where we collect the different items that we want to keep. And then we have our Ravager, our Fox, our Bees, our Arctic Fox, and our Polar Bear. Thought it'd be neat to have these in the base. So that is a project that we worked on. And this little dude is still holding a minecart, cute as ever. And that is the vast majority of our base. We have our lava here, or our glass over the lava, so we can walk out anytime to do any kind of preparations or fixes. I did have plans to build like a Strider stable for these guys out this side of the base. Didn't know how to incorporate it. And again, some of the projects that we took on just kind of wore me out, which the tunnel project did, the bridge project did, and eventually I got kind of the same thing with the outside walls here. This part of it doing the faces, I started building them and then I lost interest in it, and so rather than pushing myself to drone on about doing these and getting really, you know what I mean? We just kind of took a break from it and then came back with a vengeance to build it. So the base for the most part is complete. There is plenty more that we could have done, sure, but I'm really happy with the progress that was made. I really am. I do love this thing ever so much, and I love the entrance that we came up with, and then we have a very similar door over here. We have the smaller entrances to these areas. They are all connected up. And like I said, I wish we would have got just a few more things finished in here, but hey, it is what it is. It's still a really cool base. So here we are back on the actual server, and to finish things out, what I want to do is we're going to clean a little bit up at the base. We're going to get rid of the cakes that Liara left down here. We're going to get rid of the basalt here just to clean it up. Not a big deal. We will be pushing these items into various locations. Sure, this can just go in here. And the one thing that I definitely want to do is get all of my stuff, which I have some netherrack and rails. We're going to sort through these two boxes. As a matter of fact, we'll put the black wool in here. And I do believe that there's some netherrack in here. We'll pull the redstone torches. We'll make sure that there's no rails in here. And there's only netherrack, rails, and then finally place these in their appropriate chests. Right? So netherrack, rails, and we will get our redstone box out. Hopefully we got enough room to put the redstone torches. We do. That is great. Awesome. I'm going to throw that in here just for now, because I want to pick this guy up. Yeah. And put it in here with the other fire resist potions. And now it is that time where we must take all of our items out of our ender chest and place them down so that you guys have access to all of the things that I had. And to do this, I think what we're going to do is we're going to place an ender chest right here. And we'll pull all of our items off. I don't want that on my offhand. And then we will pull these out in proper order in case you want to have proper order. Let's see, one right here's the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, hello. Oh, sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Oh, I must have been standing too close to the statue. That scared me for a minute. So we're gonna place all these guys up here, like so. So that you guys can come and get them. They won't be too intrusive. At least I hope not. In the base. And yeah, that's kind of it, right? We'll place that one upside down. And what else do we have? We have the red nether brick and stuff. We have gunpowder. We have block of quartz. Again, all of our chests will go like that, and we'll skip the one so you guys can line up the shulker boxes with how they go in the ender chest. This is the order in which they go. And finally, we can grab a regular old chest and we can put our items next to the ender chest or around the ender chest. Let's see. I guess this will work. We'll just use 2 of these. We'll make that. We'll make a chest. It's too bad that there aren't, you know, crimson and warp chests and spruce chests and stuff like that. That would be a cool little implementation to Minecraft, I think. But now that we've done that, we can strip our stuff off. We can place our armor in, our sword, our pickaxe, our bow, our file cabinet, all of the stuff that we had on our person at the time can go in here, including the extra soul speed boots. And this is it. This is it for me for Season 2 of Truly Bedrock. Season 3 is right around the corner. A little bit of a lull between the last episode and this one. I do apologize for that. Looking back on all the things that we showed you today, there is a few things we could have done. But Season 3, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I've got plans. I've got ideas. I have no idea what I'm going to do for a base, so that's going to be fun. My ideas have nothing to do with a base, right? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Season 1 and Season 2 of Truly Bedrock, we built a nether shop. Season 2, 3, and 4 of Consolecraft and Season 1 and 2 of Truly Bedrock, we built a blaze farm. Let's be honest, we've got plans. We've got things that we have to build just because we always built them. But no, I am excited for Season 3, a fresh new start, a fresh new world. Hopefully new stuff with the first half of the Caves and Cliffs update. So this is me for the last time on Season 2 of Truly Bedrock. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Hit the notification bell to get notified when videos like this come out. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Any interaction with the channel helps out so much. And it's free. Doesn't cost you nothing. Check the description down below for all the different ways to follow me, including a link to all of the other Truly Bedrock members' Discords, YouTube channels. Check them out as well. There's so many great content creators from this server. And for the last time of Season 2, guys, I will see you in Season 3.